Hello, everyone. It's Zara Altair with Actation Now, and this is the Midweek Zap. And I am just absolutely thrilled to have Jason Darrell here with us today. Zapsters, I hope you have all your note-taking equipment ready. I don't know if it's Evernote or pencil and a pen and a notebook, but be ready. That's all I have to say. So, Jason, welcome.
Well, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much, Zara. A very good evening, Zapsters. It's an absolute honour to be here. I've been copywriting for many years, predominantly offline. Started fiction, vampire novels, and then Operation 2011 couldn't work. Thought, oh no, I can write. Let's try and earn a living writing. And sort of 3.5 years later, here we are. And I've actually learned a bit about how to write online in the process. And that's what I hope to talk to you all about tonight, and welcome any questions, especially in light of Hummingbird and semantic sort of alignment of your digital presence, putting all your digital ducks in one row. And that's what I like to do tonight.
It's, I like the way that you use the word alignment. That is a really important concept for people to think about, that it isn't just a plunk it out there, that it's aligned with who your business is, who you are as a business.
Absolutely. With the way search has gone, Google is very good at segmenting industries within search, and particularly where your website, your digital presence fits within that particular niche. Whatever industry you're in, Google has put you in a sort of bracket and say, he's a good match now to this industry, that industry, whatever industry you happen to be in. You can fortify that belief that Google has in you by aligning your social strategies to say a similar thing to what your website does. The language might be a bit different because you're looking for engagement, you're looking for conversation, and ultimately conversion. So the language you use on social media may be a bit different to that you use on your website, but as a concept, they've got to match at both ends. What your social media says has got to match what your website says, even if the language is slightly different. And that's where the alignment comes in. And then that alignment goes back to your real world business. And so your website literally has to reflect what you do in the real world to make that true connection. And those semantic capabilities that we can use now to bring our voice to the web, it's key that all points along that line make one straight arrow, if you like, to where you want to be.
All points are on that line.
Yeah.
I just want to say that again because it's so important. And I think that, when people are using different media, say podcasts or video and the website itself, and posting on social media, and especially here on Google Plus, where we are engaging in conversations, that the more everything is in line, the truer it is, and the truer the validity comes across, not just for the people who are listening, seeing, watching, engaging, but for the search engines themselves.
Absolutely. And I think on Google Plus, we have the advantage of Google is very much a real-time, over your shoulder listening sort of authority. It's understanding everything that we say on Google Plus. And I think one of the reasons Google Plus sort of came into existence, because Google had this facility of being able to listen to platforms like LinkedIn, Quora, other stumble upon, Digo even, where it's got access to the information. You've got lots of people communing together, especially on LinkedIn, you've got communities and very active groups. You've got Digo, which has got lots of possibilities to list your subjects, your topics, and make collections of websites. StumbleUpon is similar. You get a StumbleUpon DNA. And so all of a sudden, Google has thought, well, all this alignment is going on other platforms, and we can access so much of it, but we really need a way to read that information ourselves, to have this big data, this big pot of big data that we can drill right down into. And then from its very early beginnings, we saw different aspects being tagged onto Google Plus. And one of the key relationships that you can see on Google Plus to search is the auto hashtags that they're put on. So all of a sudden, if you don't put your own hashtags in, you can write a piece on Google Plus, and it will tell you all of a sudden what Google is thinking your content is about. It gives us these auto hashtags, and that gives us some insight into how Google is using Google Plus to bring all these concepts, all these people together in the niches that they're in, and extract the data from that they can then use in the search products and in their advertising products offline. And it's a big, Google Plus is a big thing. It's probably the best platform for that, but it's important to know that there were platforms that Google could get this information from before the creation of Google Plus.
Yes, I think Google Plus is a great platform. I know that in the marketing world, there's a lot of talk about Google Plus and engagement and, being real with other people and all those things. And all those things are true. Yeah. But on the other hand, that the posts and the interactions that people have on Google Plus are part of that search alignment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Google has seen Google Plus is a very different platform. It's very much you make of it what you will, whereas Facebook, Twitter, it's very much the platform is there and you use it as it's been set out. You've got the Facebook stream, you can join groups, but you're always served that same information of the people in your immediate circles. With Google Plus, you can go out and you can find people to interact with. You can, whether you want to talk about football, whether you want to talk about website design, you can go out there and you can build circles related to whatever topic you want to, and that's the difference with Google Plus, and that is by design. And I think it's a way for Google to have a look at your presence on their platform and to see the connections that you're making, and all the time the different circles, how you name them, who are in them, that gives Google a bigger picture of what all your business as a Google Plus page. It's giving Google a bigger picture of what you are, how authoritative you are, and who is likely to benefit from engaging with your content. And it's that big picture that is being transposed onto the search engines, especially in signed-in search, to make us more relevant out there as well as in case on the Google Plus platform. And I think that is the circle thing is very much a part of the design. Well, it was a part of the design from the start, but it's a key. It's one of the key ways Google extracts information from its social layer.
I think that's really interesting because here on Google Plus, in the main, most of my engagement is around business, but I also am involved in writing, and I know when I do an anonymous, when I go in anonymously and I Google my name, all this writing stuff comes up. I think that IMDb is like, first or second.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, whoa, I don't even think about that when I'm here, like doing the show or something like that. But Google really collects everything about you. And then Jason, we have some feedback and a question.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, we have a question, but first let me give you the feedback because this is just delightful. Kristen Drysdale says, I'm so excited for Jason Darrell. I get lost in his writing and have to give myself an egg timer sometimes.
Hey, Kristen, how are you? You're not the only one. I'll get lost in my own writing sometimes as well. Honestly, I do. There is a point when I start, but it often goes off at like 3 different tangents till I get to the end. But it's great to have you here, and thank you very much for the compliment. It's probably contradictory to what I'm going to say about writing as we move further through the show, but we'll come to that. But thank you.
So, awesome. And then we have a couple of things from Denver Prophet Jr. He said he has so in your Google Plus profile links, add current contributor and link your LinkedIn profile, ? As an example for semantic data. So that was a question. Linking to, when you link your LinkedIn profile to your Google Plus profile?
Definitely. It's one of the... There are two ways you can sort of go about it. Google has just recently, sort of at the beginning of this year, it gave us the markup that we could build into our website, so that when people search for you and your knowledge graph result came up in the search engines, it all of a sudden it had your Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, and Pinterest profiles underneath your name. You got the main search on the right, and then the main search on the left as you look at it, then your own knowledge box on the right, and it gave you all your social profiles underneath. That was a way for webmasters to do it, but one of the important things that we can do on our own profiles to give Google that information, because if you're posting as a business, it's not necessarily saying that you're going to be posting as your own profile. So yeah, in your contribute to section, definitely the YouTube, which will align anyway. But in mine, I've got everything. I've got all my blogs, all my social media profiles, especially the more prevalent ones like StumbleUpon, LinkedIn, Quora, places where you're not just sharing links, but you're adding definition to what those links mean to your audience. Why should somebody who's interested in me be interested in this content that I'm sharing on whatever platform? And so if you've got that link on your Google Plus profile, it's also reading not just the data that you're sharing on Google Plus, but it's also reading the data that you've got going on other social platforms as well. And I don't think too many people would do this on Google Plus, which is one of the reasons why Google gave us this markup to put into our websites, to be able to see where else we were active as website owners. Not because as a website owner, as a business, it can be a bit different from your personal profile. So it's obvious as a business page, you're going to want to put where all your other different social media profiles are. But as individuals too, yeah, let Google know what we're all about, what interests us, not just on Google Plus, but elsewhere on the web, because that is building up the bigger picture of you and making you more relevant on their knowledge graph to other people, other entities on the web. So yeah, definitely Denver, go for it. Just stick all your, all your relevant social media profiles, add them to your contribute to section on Google Plus without a doubt.
So, and then Denver Prophet Jr. has a follow-up question. I had linked my Facebook biz page to my Twitter account. Since Google can read Twitter, a better move?
Absolutely. For the usability aspect as well, because I've done pretty much the same, where you can sort of push your Facebook business page posts directly onto Twitter. And this is one of the things that, one of the reasons I believe Google Plus gave us this information to plug into our websites, this structured data, the same as when it was working through social media profiles. We're all pretty vain, and on our websites we like to have sidebars of this is my, you've got a Pinterest widget, you've got a Twitter widget. We all like to show off on our websites what we're doing on other social media platforms. Now, with Google Plus having access to your website and your social media profile through the structured markup, it's also got access to your widgets as well. And okay, maybe it's not able to index across all of Facebook, which we know it can't. But if you've got all this going on your own website, does it really need to crawl Facebook at all? It's you've already created a pathway on your website for Google to read your Facebook information, and I think by linking your Facebook business page to Twitter, you're giving Google two ways of reading your content. You're obviously giving Google access through the Twitter Firehouse now, which is sort of coming on board, but also if you've got a Twitter widget on your website and you've got your Facebook profile and your Twitter profile plugged into your website, you've got a direct path. It perhaps doesn't even need to leave the platform of your website to be able to connect all that information together. So, for definite, yeah, push your Facebook business page to Twitter because it does give another access to knowing more about you. Definitely, down there.
Okay, thank you. That was a good question. And then also, Rick says, I believe Google Plus to be a layer that encompasses all of Google. It is not a platform. So integrating yourself with Google Plus integrates you with everything that Google provides.
Yeah, absolutely. Vivica, that's probably more just my terminology. It is Google. It is Google's layer. And a question now with the additional elements that Google is building into Google Plus. You can actually create a very vivid platform that is your base camp for everything that Google knows about you on the web. And we were talking about this on the announcement of the collections, Google Plus, the collections that you can now build, and the semantic value that collections have. In a way, Google has found it very difficult to attract masses of people to join its social layer. Privacy is one issue, but building up a meaningful layer, this is why I think it is a platform, because you have to create a base for yourself on Google Plus, and the circles you build, they're one of the pillars on that base. The entities you link to from your profile are another pillar. Your communities that you engage in are yet another one. And now we've got collections, and this is not just collections, and not just telling Google what you are about, but you are giving Google a means to band topics together. Say I was reading 3 different blogging sites. I've got Copyblogger, I've got IFB, and I've got Enchanting Marketing, all of which, they all produce some fantastic information about blogging. Out on the web, there may not be a connection other than the niche that they're in. That they're all talking about blogging. All of a sudden, if I start grouping IFB, Enchanting Marketing, and Copyblogger into a collection on Google Plus, Google is going to say, well, here we go. There's a relationship here. He's put all these under the headline blogging. So there is a relationship there. So that is your base, that's your starter for 10. And then all of a sudden you get people engaging with this collection and people, sharing elements from and following this collection. Again, this is the semantic web spreading out. You've created on your platform, which is why I insist, Google Plus is a platform, as well as, I take the point, it is a layer across Google's product, but you've got to see it as your base camp for everything else that you do on the web, and in that sense, it very much is a platform. You create your own digital presence on Google Plus, and Google is giving us more and more tools to do that, which is why I think it's more than just Google's social layer now. It's an entity in its own right, and you are right at the heart of that entity. So everything's revolving around you, but you can bring other elements from the web to tell Google more about what you're about.
Sheila Hensley has a follow-up question. She says, I was under the impression that Twitter disliked pushed posts from Facebook. Am I wrong, or does it not really matter with what we're talking about?
The blunt answer to that, I wouldn't really care what Facebook thinks about. If the facility's there and I want what I'm publishing on Facebook to appear on Twitter, the ability is there to do it. There are smarter ways of managing your social, obviously, but for social media marketers who've got products like Hootsuite, they're gonna do that anyway. They're gonna create a bespoke snippet for each different social media platform that they're posting to. But for those, we tend to think of everybody as marketers, and not everybody is. You've got different people at the stage who just, they're finding the feet in the world. They want to share what they've got, especially for business owners who are just building up the digital presence on their own. They want to reach as many people as possible. And if Facebook provides a means to share your Facebook content, and some businesses are more aligned with Facebook than other social media platforms, they'll get more traction on there. But if they want to start spreading the word about their business out onto Twitter, and Facebook is giving you a way to share your content right into Twitter, then just do it. I really wouldn't, it's not like Facebook is going to give you any benefit in organic reach, because we know that there is no organic reach on Facebook anymore. It's everything on Facebook is paid, so it's not like you're going to do yourself any discredit in Facebook. So as if you do share your content straight out to Twitter. So yeah, Facebook might not like it, but just do it. What else can I say?
Then we have from William Roth, follow up from a little bit earlier. He says, well said, Jason. User experience first, and once you link social in your code, you can allow Google to follow faster.
Absolutely. I think this is one of the points that when we start talking about the actual sort of concept of semantic copywriting, if we ever get there, I think we might have to have another hangout for that. You've got to identify. You've got to identify your target market, and that's whether you're writing copy or whether you're composing your social media snippets. So your content has got to provide a solution. As soon as you start writing, you've got to think, who am I going to help with this content? If you're just posting something because everybody else in your niche has posted something about it, and you think, oh God, everybody else is doing it, I've got to post about that as well. I think not actually now. Unless you've got value add that you can give to your audience, you're better off just let the news be. People get to news resources because the news resources, they want you to solve a problem for them. And so yeah, you've got to put the user experience before you type your first word, whether it be on social media or on your website. You've got to think about, what problem am I solving for the people who are going to read this content? And so yeah, William's bang on. The user experience comes first, but then you've got to give, you can't just publish it and expect Google to find it. You've got to go out there and spread the word. You've got to find your audience. You've got to cultivate your audience. And Google is your best ally at doing that. And I think the way we write is the best way now, even better than backlinks or anything else. What your content says is going to be the most important factor about reaching the right audience for that content. As David Amland would say, it's relevance. That is the key, especially with context in voice search and context in desktop search as well. It's about saying to Google, look, my content solves this problem. When somebody searches for this sort of string or thing or however the search, my content can solve their problem. And so, yeah, absolutely put your user at the very heart of everything you do.
Okay, I have a thank you from Sheila Hensley. She says, thanks, Jason Darrell. Use it to our best advantage for our purposes.
Absolutely, yeah. It's all social media is a means to an end. It's marketing. It's not. I remember Brian Clark saying 18 months ago, we're not going to be calling it digital marketing. So it's just going to be marketing, because that is what we do. We're advertising either our brand or our service or our product on whatever social media layer, platform, network, however you want to describe the medium you're using. We are building our brand presence. We are saying to people, look guys, this is what we do, and we want to leverage Google in organic search to make the most of those opportunities. So it is marketing. If you think about social media as anything other than marketing, from a business perspective, there are reasons. I love social media just for the crack of social media and just being on there, and I'm sure many other people do. But if you're working for a client who's paying you to bring people to their website, then you are advertising for them on all the different platforms. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jason, and for answering all these questions and responding to all these.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and so, but now, we have a few minutes left, and I'd love for you to focus on that X factor and tell us more about that, because that is where you just shine. So,
okay.
Copywriting, we can talk about it now.
Yay! Okay, right. I think we'll need a sequel for this. Okay, the 4 pillars of copywriting that I use personally, and this is a process that we've developed at SEO Workers, and it's called the Semantic X-ray. And what is it? What we've found is that there are a lot more businesses now who have had a website for some years. They have been penalised through actions of people who've looked after the search engine optimization or social media or content. People, they've trusted people to deliver. Unfortunately, these people have acted, even in good faith, with keyword stuffing, with over optimization of links, and there are all sorts of elements that can bring a website owner to us now, and they're in trouble. So the focus really is on people getting out of trouble. It's great when you have the opportunity to launch a website brand new for somebody, because you don't inherit these problems. But what we had to do was, for all these people who are coming to us with penalties one way or another, we had to find a quick fix for their content, so at least their content was not going to get them into any more trouble than perhaps the linking strategies that they'd got involved in, or perhaps a little bit of grey or sort of black hat SEO that might have worked that they didn't even know was happening, but some unscrupulous SEO had sort of put into practice for them. So we developed the semantic X-ray, and its concept sort of takes somebody else's content, and with the best will in the world, there's only a few of us at SEO workers, and we couldn't physically rewrite all the copy for all the people who were coming to our door. So what was it? Well, wouldn't it be a great idea if we could teach people how to do their own, their own rewrites? And so we set out four basic pillars, and they were NLP, natural linguistics, natural language processing, which is the readability, how easy it is to read, for want of a better word, the concepts of the article, were how was the article being seen by the search engines, what topics was it covering, the ontologies and the taxonomies of the article, what were the words actually saying when you put them to the test, not what the reader thought they were saying, because there are two very different. But what a Google indexer sees and what a human reader sees are two very, very different things. And the last pillar is the entity disambiguation, which is making sure that all the entities within your content stand out and that they all have a purpose within your content. They're not just there because you think your content ought to contain these words, but entities such as your service, your product, your audience, they all have a purpose to be there. And what we were finding was a lot of people were writing wonderful prose, but it was rambling, and it was going so, it was so unedited and so naturally conversant that the actual meaning of the content, the meaning of the article itself was actually lost. And we used the Alchemy API to test through what the content is actually saying to the search engines, and even though on the surface it may look as if it's saying the right things, in the semantic X-ray presentation, which I've got here, I'll just copy that and put it in the thread. And there. Oh, okay. It wouldn't. Sorry, it wouldn't because I'm on a Google Apps account. It won't. I'll have to share those after. But what we were saying is that, and the example I use in the semantic X-ray is we're talking. We did an analysis for a flower company. They wanted to, they were delivering flowers, phone orders, and deliver. And what we done when we put it through the analysis was we saw that the main concepts of the article were arrangements. Was one of them that stood out, and I thought, yeah, flower arrangements, that's right. But what the Alchemy API does, it actually links to what that particular topic means in the hierarchy of things. Such as in your schema, you have the hierarchy from your biggest thing in a chain all the way down to its offshoot. And what we actually found arrangements was meaning in their context wasn't flower arrangements, but because the content contained a lot of information about delivering flowers to music halls and to other celebrations, the arrangements actually meant musical arrangements. So you really have to drill down to the lowest level possible to find out what your content means. And And after the show, I'll share the semantic X-ray because it is a great example of how we take somebody's content that for a human reader, you would say, yeah, God, this is all about flare arranging. But when you actually put it through a simulation that will extract the concepts and the taxonomies and all the keywords and sentiment, it actually tells the index of something completely different. And this is what we found when people come into us for the content. They were just not disambiguating the entities within their content enough to make it clear to Google where it should be ranking that content. And this is what Google wants. Google wants to be able to look at your content, appraise it with confidence, verify it with information that it's got on the knowledge graph, and then serve it to a relevant audience. And this is how the knowledge graph really is impacting on search now. The semantic values come in with signed in search when Google knows a lot more of the people who it is likely to think we are relevant to. But certainly now we've got to try and make sure that what our content says what it should be saying, not only for the human audience but for an index or two. And that really is the concept of the semantic X-ray. But it does mean testing on 4 different levels, which is it's hard work. But once people get into the habit of writing that way, they can start to, all the content they produce, they can then focus it on the people who will best benefit from what they've got to say. Yeah.
Jason, that is just fabulous. We're coming to the end of our time, so I just want to quickly go over those 4 pillars, which is natural language, readability, content, and that last one was entity disambiguation. So make sure that your keywords and your sentiment are really doing what you want them to do.
Absolutely. Context is so important in search now. Sentiment does matter. So yeah, you have to test out the polarity of your sentiment too.
Right. So I really want to thank you. I feel like we got this short little taste and tease of everything that you do and you serve with everyone. And I can't believe our time is coming to an end. Do you have any last words for the Zapsters and our audience and people who are going to be watching on YouTube later and all that sort of thing? Oh, one last tidbit of, get a clue.
Yeah, I think the William Rock has really sort of helped define the concept here. You've got to identify who's going to benefit from the content that you're producing. You should do that before you even start writing. Who's going to benefit from this? Keyword research is still very, very important. If you get a chance to look at Peter Hatherley's CISE, C-I-S-E, because that is a brilliant semantic sort of search engine. It will actually show you some really associated concepts that you really wouldn't think are associated.
It's
just amazing. If you check back on Zara's Actation, their episodes from a couple of weeks ago, you'll see Peter Hatherley. He's sort of explaining his CISE in more depth. And really, just write clearly. Knowledge triples is one thing that I really wanted to dwell on, but we never got a chance to. Have a subject, have an object, and have a verb. Make sure that your subject is always doing something to the object of your sentence, because it's knowledge triples that both Google and Bing have declared they're struggling to extract to really give meaning to content. So work on your knowledge triples. If you look for knowledge triples, Bernard Batan is brilliant on Google Plus for some of the content he's putting out. And Theodora, who's just been in Sophia with David Ameland, search Theodora. She's got some brilliant ideas about content and text. And you know, I've got to thank those guys as well, and Frank Gainsford for his insight with Foofism, FUFISM, Foofism, which will really show how your off-site presence is related to your on-site presence. And do search Semantic X-ray, and come and find me if you've got any questions about the Semantic X-ray, and I'll willingly answer anything you've got there, because that is the basis of what we do as SEO workers when we try and solve people's problems out from the content level.
Oh, this has just been a delight, a total delight. I mean, so sorry we have to end, because we could go on, you know, one of what Chris says. We could go without the egg timer, but we have a time commitment with our HOA. So thank you so very, very much, Jason. And thank you, Zapsters, for all your pertinent questions and sharing information. And William Rock, I want to especially thank you for putting up the link about triples and tagging. So thank you very much for that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I told you, it's a great audience here.
Well, Zara, thank you for having me and giving me this opportunity. And I think, yeah, you know, let's set a date for a sequel. I know you've got a very full calendar of people coming up. But yeah, let's do a sequel to this a couple of months from now, and get people using the X-ray, and let's have the questions, and perhaps
we'll do it.
Brilliant. Thanks for everybody for joining. That's brilliant. Thank you, Zara.
Thank you, everyone. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.